Hi guys, quick video tutorial on how to start from scratch and make your own album in Photoshop. The process for me is pretty quick, but I will slow it down for you guys. First of all, I like to have Bridge open, and I also like to have Photoshop open. So I'm going to go ahead and open both of those. Now, what I like to do is under a job that I have. If you've watched a previous video on file management that I've done, you'll see that I have my job named the way I always do. I've got edited, and I've got Lightroom, and I've got raw. My Lightroom catalog is in there, my raw files are in there, my edited files are in here, and my Facebook watermarked shots are in there. So what I'll do is go back to the root folder and create a new folder and call it album. And within the album, I will make another new folder and put PSDs, and another one called flattened JPEGs. Now, prior to making an album, you're going to want to pick your supplier. Who's going to be the one that prints it for you? Is it going to be an album company? Is it going to be Costco? Is it going to be Apple? One of Apple's consumer books? Is it going to be from, if you're local around here, it could be from Picto in Toronto, it could be from Blurb Online. Either way, you're going to want to find your supplier, and you're going to want to get the specs from that company. So that would be the overall size of the album, and whether or not they require a bleed, whether or not they their albums start with single page or double page spread, and then you would design from there. So a lot of people use InDesign. I personally like to do it this way just because I'm pretty fast at it. I have complete control over everything. So getting started, I'll open up Photoshop and I'll do Control N or Command N on the Mac, and that's going to bring up this dialog box for a new document. And I'm going to want to change it to inches, and just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to do an album that's 12 by 12. Okay, so 12 by 12 at 300 dpi. Now, this is going to be the first page, so it's going to be 12 by 12. I'm going to say OK, and it made me a document 12 by 12. If you've got your rulers up here, you might want to, right now it says centimeters, I want to change that to inches. I want it to be telling me this document in inches, showing me this document in inches. If you don't have these rulers up here, just press Command or Control R, and you'll see they appear and disappear. The R obviously stands for rulers. And I'm going to drag over from the corner to the corner of my document just to make sure that it starts at 0 right here. I'm going to drag over a guide 0.25 all the way around the edges. That's pretty much the standard for most places with regards to where important information should not go. It's a pretty small space anyway. So that's the first page done. I'm going to do Command or Control Shift S, which is Save As, and I'm going to call this one 0001. Leave it as a PSD. I'm going to navigate to my that folder that I'm working out of there through Bridge, which is, I'm just going to, for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to use the images from my vacation on the weekend. Go into Album, go into PSDs, and there it is. So I've got 0001, that's page 1, and it's a Photoshop document. So I'm going to hit Save, and then I'm going to do Command or Control Shift S, which is Save As again, and I'm going to call this 3000. So it's not really 3000, it's page 30. I'm going to base this design on 30 pages. The first page is going to be 12 by 12 like this, and the very last page is going to be 12 by 12 as well. So I'm going to call this page 30, save it, and then I can close that one. But now I have to create the pages in the middle, so I'm going to do Command or Control N again, which is New Document, and I'm going to make it double the width by 12. So 12 times 2 by 12. So it's going to be this is going to represent an open page. And then immediately I'm going to drag a guideline to the center, a guideline to 0.25 around the edges, all the way around the edges, so you know you don't want to put any important information crossing that line. Some companies use this portion as a bleed. Some companies like you to add the bleed to the overall size, so add 0.25 to the outside of this document, so it would actually be 24.25 by 12.25. But I'm going to assume that these guys are printing wall to wall. This company is printing wall to wall ink, which means they'll print to both edges without needing to cut off anything. So now I've got a middle page, so I'm going to do Control or Command Shift S, which is Save As, and I'm going to call this one 0203. So there's page 1, this will be page 2 and 3, and I'll save. Command Shift S again, 0405, Command Shift S, 0607, Command Shift S, 0809, 1011, 1213, 1415. You can see it's saving new documents every time. Pardon me, it's saving new documents every time because I'm doing Save As. 1415, 1617, 1819, 2021, 2223, 2425. Oops. Oh, I hit a wrong button there. Hold on, guys. What did I do? I made everything disappear. I made all my tools disappear. Alright, Command Shift S. Where was I? 2425, 2627, 2829, and we've already got 30 there, which is a single page. So, if you go back into Bridge, you see that it's created all these documents for you. So you've got the first page, and the last page, and the pages in between. And they're all named consecutively. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up the first page. I'm going to close that last one. I'm just going to reset my workspace here because I think, yeah, my tools disappeared there for a second. So I'm going to go on my very first page. This might be a wedding album, it might be a family album, it might be a portfolio for yourself, it might be anything. You could use this for anything. So I'm going to call it, sorry you can't see that, I'll make it a little bigger. So I just used my type tool and I typed what I wanted the title of the album to be. Now I'm going to go back to my move tool and I'm going to press Command T, which is transform, and I'm just going to make this font a little bigger here. Go back into my type tool and fix my typos. And then I think I want to put the year. So this could be an album. Now this could be a bride and groom's name and their wedding date. It could be a child's name and his birth date. This could be an album for newborn shots. And of course, obviously, you can change the font to whatever you want. If you want to make it more fancy smancy, just change that right there. Okay, so that would be your first page. Done. Close it. Do you want to save it? Yes. Close it off. Next page. Actually, I think what I'll do is I'll skip real quick to the last page. This is where photographers might want to put their logo or their company name. So you could type it. Sorry, my font size starting off my font size is 12, so that's why I have to keep resizing it. I'm just being lazy here. I didn't change it to a bigger font starting out, but you can. So when I grab the font tool, or the type tool, you can predetermine the size before you start typing. I'm just going to throw 16 in there for now. Oops, no, I had that selected, so it resized it to 16. That didn't work. 1.66, yeah, nope. Make it 20. Okay. Nope. Let me just get rid of that. There we go. I'm just going to change the font to Century. Nice clean font. And I'm going to Command T and make it a little bit smaller. So you could do that if you already have your logo designed. You could bring it onto this document. You can also make a Photoshop brush out of your logo. I have a Photoshop brush for my logo already in here. There it is. So you could do that. You'll have to make a new layer to do that. Right now we've got two type layers and the background. So I'm going to make a new layer on top of the background. And I have my brush set to black and it's at 100%. So you could do it that way, you could put it in the corner, you could do whatever you want. So this is a great page, usually the very last page for your identity, or you could just have an image go right to the end and not bother with putting an identity at the back. Now, that'll change in a second, it needs to repopulate. So for designing the pages, now that you've got all these pages designed, you go into Bridge, and what I like to do is open up a new window in Bridge. So there's two windows. Now you'll see that there's two windows down here. One that shows, actually, sorry, let me go into, one is for your images. So I'm going to go into Edited. And one is meant for your PSDs. That's just populating right now, so we'll give it a second. Yeah, it's taking a while for some strange reason. Of course, when I want to make a video, my computer slows down. This always seems to happen. We'll just wait that out, I guess. Or we could just go File Open and do it manually while this software catches up. Go into Edited, and I'm going to grab a couple of photos. And say I want these three images on my first page. So I'm going to say I want to select all, Command A, Command C, and Command V for paste. I'm on my Move tool, and I'm going to resize this to fit. Actually, you know, I think I'm going to leave it like that. I might want the background black, so I'm going to take my foreground color and change it to the background color. Edit Fill with background color 100%. So now the back of my album is black. I'm going to grab my marquee, rectangle marquee. I'm going to hold down Shift to make a perfect square. Command C and Command V. And I want that to be exactly the same size on this document as well. Actually, no, I'm not going to grab a square on that one. I'm going to close that one down. I'm going to grab a long skinny selection from this one, Command C, Command V, and that's my three images for my first two pages. So now I can put this, maybe resize it where I want it. Now this is the beauty of not working with templates, is you decide what you want. If you're ever working with layers in Photoshop and you find that when you drag something towards something else, it sort of jumps to the line. If you go under View and have this here snap on, that means that this is going to snap to this, or it'll snap to guidelines as well. You'll see that you'll get to a certain point and then it'll just snap to the guideline. That's what Snap is for, and Snap is quite good when you're working with stuff you want to be aligned. I'm actually gonna, that's still not populated. File open, and let's find another gunshot. Open that, and I'm gonna grab a square selection of that. Command C, Command V, Command T, which is transform, and I'm gonna match it up. This might seem a little bit time consuming in comparison to drag and drop into templates and or using InDesign, because InDesign allows you to create templates, but personally I find templates a pain to work with, and I am pretty fast with this, so I don't bother with them because I can get through doing this manually quite well. So I'm slowing this down tremendously for you guys. So there's the first two pages, page 1 and page 2 of my album. If you want to put a stroke on these, you can double click your layer properties and go into stroke, and maybe we'll make it red to match the bullets, and we'll put it on the inside and say we want it a little bit thicker than that, so you see the size growing on there on the stroke right there. This is the size of the stroke, so we'll make it substantial so you can see it. Say OK. Now you've done that to that one, you want to do it maybe to the rest of them. You can right click and say copy layer style. You can grab the other 3 layers by grabbing the first one, holding down shift and grabbing the rest of them. Right click and say paste layer style, and it will add that layer style to the rest of them. This one, however, I want to run off the page except for right here. So that might be my first page, and like I said, if you get pretty fast at this like I am, that whole process, if I wasn't slowing it down, would have taken me maybe a minute. So I'm going to close that and save it. Yes. And this is still not populating. And that's repopulated. Give it a second. Sometimes it's a little bit, I find since I've updated to Adobe Cloud, everything is slow. Everything. My clone stamp is not working in Photoshop. All kinds of bugs in this version of Photoshop and Lightroom. Yeah, it's not loading. So anyway, your first page, your page 2 and 3 is done. Now for 4 and 5, oops, we still have an image open. File open. Maybe I might want to have an image go across an entire 2-page spread, in which case I would grab that image, open it up, Command A or Control A, Control C, and V, and then I would Command T and stretch it to the whole image. Stretch it. So now with this, when you open the album, both sides of the page will have one continuous image. Some companies have an album where the seam in the middle is virtually indetectable. The pages are perfect and they don't have much of a split. Other albums are just like a typical book where it'll bend into the middle, so you don't want to put anything important in there if that's the case. But if it's one of those flat mounted books and you open it up and this line, there's barely any interruption here with the image across the middle, then you can do that. But you can still do this even if it's a book style album where it does dip into the middle. It's just as long as you don't put anything important information across the seam in the middle, like somebody's face. I love this here, but it's kind of boring. I want to put something, I mean, the image is great. I love the image. But I'd kind of like to put something over here maybe. So let's see, what could I put there? I'm just doing file open and going through my Windows browser versus Bridge, because as you can see, it's still populating. Let's see. Maybe I'll grab a soft, warm shot of the dog. And just maybe that kind of a selection maybe. Yeah, it looks good to me. Command C, go over to the document, Command V for paste, and maybe I'll put that right there. And I think I'd like to put a stroke on that. When you choose these things, within the layer properties, you can tick it, but until you go actually onto it, there's the options for that stroke. So here's the size and the color and all that jazz. But if you just click on something, you're not going to see the options over here for that thing until you click on it. So I don't want it to be bevel and embossed. Stroke is good. I'd like to make the stroke one of these nice hunter mossy greens, I think, and put it on the inside and make it a little bigger. And maybe I want to put like a drop shadow. Drop shadows are a little old school, but where is it? Drop shadow. You can see you can make the drop shadow fairly soft, and you can fade it, and you can also change the color of the drop shadow. Maybe I'll pick one of these darker browns instead of black. Say OK, and you could put a bunch of square images over here, like 4 of them, like little detail shots. This one seems to be everybody gazing out into the beautiful misty morning. So we'll have the dog. This dog's not a hunting dog, but it's a beautiful gazing shot, and it's kind of warm like the rest of them. So we'll say that one's done, we'll close it, and we'll save it, and say OK. And I'm going to, it looks to me like Bridge is having a real hard time populating these images. Maybe I'll close it all down and repopulate it. Alright, back to Photoshop. We're going to close that. We're going to close that. And I'm going to do File, Open. And now I have to actually go into my PSDs because Bridge is still lagging behind. Is it? No, it's not now. Okay. Close that screen. So now I've got my first page, and I've got my page 2 and 3, and my page 4 and 5. Open up 6 and 7. And File, Open. And let's see, what else do I want to do? Let's grab this picture of my handsome boyfriend posing for a picture, and some of the details of the scenery that we were looking at, maybe where we happen to be walking. Yeah, I'll open up those. And they're not all opening. Hold on. File, Open. Let's see. This great teepee and these funky rocks and some of the fall leaves and maybe a neat boathouse that was across the water. We're going to open all of those. Now I'm going to grab, I think, all of this, Command A, Command C, over to the new document, Command V, and Command T to resize. I think I want this to cover all of the right side of the page, but I don't want this here, so actually, yeah, maybe I do. I'm going to erase. See, this is a design process. This is why it's fun to do this from scratch instead of going with a template, because when you do it from scratch, you can play with it and be creative and do stuff that a template doesn't allow you to do. So I've just erased some of that, and then what I'm going to do is go to my background color, or sorry, my background, and I'm going to pick one of the colors from this image. Now it's my foreground. Now Command or Control Delete on the keyboard fills it automatically with the background color. So I just filled my background with that color. Done with that, and I might want to grab, since these trees are tall and skinny, I'm going to grab like a tall, skinny selection. Command C, Command V, and it pasted underneath my other layer so I can't see it. So I'm just going to drag my other layer down so it's on top, and Command T to transform. So we've got this great little long skinny selection here of these trees. And then I might want to grab maybe another long skinny selection of this very cool TP that's there every year on the property. Command C over to the document, Command V, and Command T to transform. Maybe I'll put that there. Now to line it up, just zoom in all the way, drag it over. It's on snap, so it's going to snap to the line. Just match it up. And scroll to the top real quick and it matches, which is good. Command 0 brings your document back to full size. And you can move these. I think maybe I'll stagger them like this. And now my clipboard should still have a I'm going to paste layer style. Yeah, it still had the layer properties from the last time I copied. But I don't like the red, so I'm going to double click and I'm going to go to my stroke and I'm going to change it to more of a burgundy color, like fall. Most of these leaves in here are burgundy. Hit OK, say OK, right click, copy layer style, go to the other one and paste layer style. So now they're both the same. So that might be page 2. Sometimes I'll put another image here, like a little square one, and another little square one here. But you can do whatever you want to do. You can lay these out however you want. It's real simple. Just to make sure that you try to keep the distance between here and here the same always. You'll see I just do it on autopilot because I know about the unwritten rules of graphic design. I'm also a graphic designer, formally trained, as well as a photographer and an editor. So I know that anytime you put anything, be it text, unless it's going to bleed off, this image here is bleeding off the edges all the way around. But these two guys here, because they're not being bled off the edges. Anything, if you have text in here or images or anything else, it's very important to keep, just for aesthetic reasons. It's an unwritten rule basically. It's like the unwritten rule of photography: never cut anybody off at a joint. If you're gonna do a 3/4 length shot, then you do it at the middle of the hip, never the knees, never the ankles, never the wrists. Just general rules that are sort of unwritten rules about how to do things in an aesthetically pleasing way. So when you're laying out albums like this and you have elements like this inside the image, be it images or text or whatever, just watch your distance between the edges. Keep it nice and clean. Keep it consistent throughout the entire album. So I'm going to say that page is done, close it and save it, yes. And I'm going to close these other images. No, I don't want to save that. No, I don't want to save that. I didn't use those two. And now you'll see you've got, see this building criteria every time. This should happen instantly when you go to click from one folder to another. This is Adobe Cloud, thank you. Slowing down my process here. I hope they fix all these bugs because it's driving me bonkers. My computer is lightning fast, and it was lightning fast before I installed Cloud, and now I'm having all these problems. Okay, so as soon as that populates again, I'll be able to actually finish this tutorial. I wish I could pause this recording. Maybe I can. I'm going to pause it and see what happens. Are we recording? Yes, okay, we're running again. Okay, so your whole album, you're going to do the whole album the same way. You're going to design the whole album. Your last page is going to be done, your first page is going to be done, and you're going to be ready to send it off to the customer for approval. I am going to close Facebook because people are talking to me and it's driving me bonkers. You've got your whole album designed, so you're going to do Command A, which is select all, and you're going to go to the output options, and you'll go to, let's see, where is output? And of course, nothing is working properly. Preview. No, I want to see output options. Okay, pause again. Alright, well, I was going to show you how to output as an Acrobat file, for a low-res Acrobat file for your customers to proof. and like make a PDF of all of these. But apparently Photoshop has removed the output options in Photoshop Cloud, Lightroom, Bridge. It's what a mess. Like, these guys need to smarten up. So that's gone. However, you can do Command Alt when you're. That's what you would have done to make it, to make a proof. We're going to skip that step and we're going to say Command Alt, and we're going to do Window, Tools. Everything is moved. This is painful. Alright. This is painful. Absolutely painful. They're supposed to be in here. That's it. I am going back to Photoshop CS5. This is absolutely painful. Absolutely painful. I'm going to have to redo this whole tutorial. Okay, there also used to be image processor. And it's not here either. Where you could take all of these and make them into JPEGs. And then they could be saved in your flattened JPEGs folder, at which time you would grab all of those flattened files and send them to the company that's going to make your album for you. And that's the end of this tutorial. How very frustrating. I'm moving back to Photoshop CS5 because this is a big giant load of crap. Alright, that's it. Hope this helps you.